dear students. So this is Dr. Lagnajit Mahapatra. I am going to take your industrial pharmacy class, and for this, let us start your first unit, that is pre-formulation studies. So as the introduction class, I am going to start what is the pre-formulation and how to conduct, carry out these different tests for the pre-formulation studies. So let us see what are the things there in the pre-formulation and what is this pre-formulation. So generally pre-formulation means before the formulation. What are the things we are going to see before the formulation? What are the tests we have to do before going to the formulation? So that's why this will confirm the physiochemical properties and physical properties of the drug molecule. So this test, pre-formulation studies, will be carried out for the drug only, or it's a mixture of drug and excipients. And so this way we have to go for different tests so that we will get a confirmation about the formulation. It will be good in the future or not. So there is so many importance also there for these pre-formulation studies. First one is we are confirming the physiochemical methods. Different physical methods. Compatibility studies. To increase dissolution and bioavailability, and finally it will give us an idea about stability of drugs. So these are the different importance, the things we will get by conducting the pre-formulation studies: physiochemical methods, physical methods, compatibility studies, dissolution and bioavailability will enhance, and also we can know the stability also will increase. So these are the things we are telling as the importance of pre-formulation studies. So let us go for what are the things we are going to conduct the pre-formulation studies. The first one, we have to conduct the physical forms of the drug molecules. Second one, we have to go for different particle sizes of the drug molecules. Third one, we have to go for our we can tell it is your oxidation and hydrolysis. Fourth one, different other like polymorphism. So these are the different techniques we have to carry out in the pre-formulation studies. The details later in the notes I will give you. So let us individually we will discuss about different methods. So let us discuss about these physical forms. What is the physical forms of the drug molecules and excipients? So generally physical form of any solid particle is your maybe crystalline form or amorphous. Crystalline or amorphous. So these are the two types of structure that we will see in the every solids, not only drug molecules, also in the excipients. So that's why we are having these two are most important part, as it will affect your solubility of the drugs, melting point of the drugs, and also dissolution and bioavailability of the drugs. So that's why you have to get one idea what are the crystalline nature of the drugs and what are the amorphous type of drugs. So in this crystalline state we can tell different that already we have studied in the physical pharmacy, different crystal structure of the drugs. So it is what is this crystalline form and how it will affect. Generally, every solid particle tend to be formed crystals, but these crystal structures present in that will be in regular manner, in organized manner. So there are different types of structures available, but these crystal structures will affect the solubility of the drug. Generally, we are considering crystalline structures are more stable than amorphous, as it is producing the crystal forms. But there are some other properties that will decrease the solubility and dissolution of the drugs due to this crystalline structure. That is your polymorphism. That is your polymorphism. So generally, this polymorphism, let us discuss about, as polymorphism is related to crystalline structure of the drug molecule. Let us discuss about this polymorphism. What is polymorphism and how it will affect the dissolution and bioavailability of the drugs. If one solid substance as is having different crystalline forms, then we are telling us it is different polymorphs. If one solid substance having different crystalline structures, these structures we are calling as polymorphs, and this process we are calling as polymorphism. So that means every individual crystalline form we are calling as polymorphs. Then what is this polymorph and how it will affect the solubility and dissolution of the drugs, and how it will affect different solid dosage forms or liquid dosage forms. Generally, there are so many types of drugs there, they will tend to go for this polymorphism process. That means, for example, we will take chloramphenicol. Chloramphenicol palmitate. So it is having three forms of crystalline form A, B, C. Form A, B, C. But from all these three structures, three polymorphs, all are not stable. All the forms are not stable. One form is stable, other form is unstable, and another form is metastable. So generally for every polymorph, every different types of polymorph, there may be stable form, unstable form, and metastable form. Stable form means we can store it for a long time. Unstable means we cannot store it. Metastable means it is a stable form, but slowly it will be unstable. So that's why this type of polymorph will affect our formulation, dissolution, and bioavailability also. So generally, if a polymorph which is we are telling as stable, as it is stable, its melting point is high. As its melting point is high, its solubility is low, its dissolution is low, its bioavailability is low. Although we can store it for a long time, although we can store the stable form for a long time, but due to its dissolution and bioavailability problem, we cannot use in the formulation. And coming to the unstable form, the name is unstable, we cannot store it. So we cannot use this unstable form because we cannot store it for long days. Because as the medicines we are using need to store it for a long time, 2 years or 3 years. So it's a big problem that we cannot store it for 15 to 20 days. So we cannot use the unstable form. So which thing is remained for us? That is your metastable form, which is a stable form, but it will be degraded or going to be unstable during storage. But this metastable is a stable form. So if we maintain different conditions like temperature, humidity, then we can store it for long days. We can store this metastable form for long days. So that's why always we are referring this metastable form for the different formulations. So this is about the polymers. Now coming to amorphous substances. What is this amorphous substances? It's not a crystalline form. It don't have crystalline structures. So it is having highest energy levels. It is having more solubility. It is having more dissolution. It is having more bioavailability as comparison to this crystalline form or polymers. So that's why we are generally referring amorphous substances. But all the drug molecules don't have these amorphous substances. All are tend to be crystal form. So that's why always we are referring metastable form or amorphous substances. Now coming to the second part, how to analyze this crystal structure, how to analyze physical forms. So generally we are having different analytical techniques like X-ray diffraction, differential scanning, calorimetry, differential thermal screening method. So we are having different types of techniques. We are telling us the DSC, X-ray diffraction technique. By these, we can determine the crystalline structures. With this X-ray diffraction, generally the solid molecules will be diffracted through X-rays and will get the crystal structures. In differential scanning calorimetry, differential thermal scanning, different types of methods, we are going to know what is the structure of the crystal and what is the nature of it. So these are the analytical methods we are doing to know this type of methods. Now coming to the second one, particle size. Particle size. So this particle size is the most important factor we can tell, as particle size when decreases, its surface area will increase, and when the surface area will increase, the dissolution bioavailability also will increase. So that's why the pharmaceutically particle size is having a most important part. So that's why generally to increase the dissolution and bioavailability, we are considering low particle sizes. So that's one technique we are using for that. It is known as micronization. The technique name is micronization. So in this, we are going to decrease the particle size in micron sizes. So it will decrease the particle size and the surface area will increase. When the surface area will increase, then it will get more dissolution, it will expose to more dissolution medium and it will dissolve easily. So that's why decreasing the particle size will increase the dissolution and the bioavailability of the drugs. So that's why always we are preferring these particle sizes, decreasing particle size of the particle. And although if we decrease the particle size, we will get so many problems. We will get low bulk density, we will get low flow properties, but still as it is increasing the dissolution of the drug molecules, so always we are referring by lowering the micronization technique to increase the dissolution and bioavailability of the drugs. So now let us discuss about what are the analytical methods there to determine the particle sizes. So generally, to know this, we are going for microscopy, optical microscopy. Optical microscopy. And we are going for counter culture method. So these are the two suitable methods which are conducted in the lab also to know the particle size of the drug molecules or what is the particle size inside the dosage forms. So optical microscopy means under the microscope, light microscope, you have to prepare the suspension or emulsion. That particle we have to put under the microscope and you have to determine different particle ranges, size ranges. Like that, counter culture method, it is a electrical method generally. It is having orifice. When the particle will enter through the orifice, which is connected to electrodes, due to the displacement of the particles, it will determine the particle sizes. So generally we are using these two types of methods to determine the particle sizes. So these are the two parameters today we have discussed. The first one is your physical forms of the drug molecule and particle sizes. So different other techniques we will discuss in the next class.